You're standing in the cleaning aisle at the grocery store, staring at a wall of plastic bottles. One spray for the glass, a different one for the granite, one for the bathroom, one for the stovetop, a special powder for the carpet, a special tablet for the drain. 15 bottles, 15 prices, 15 little jobs. And down on the bottom shelf, ignored, there's a plain cardboard box that costs about $1. That one box does at least 20 of the jobs those 15 bottles are charging you for. It's the same box your grandmother kept by the kitchen sink, the same box your mother slowly stopped buying, somewhere along the way, because the aisle handed her a prettier bottle for every single chore. Look, there's a reason you have seen an open box of baking soda sitting in the back of a refrigerator for 50 years. And it traces straight back to one marketing decision made in 1972. I am going to name that decision before this video is over, and once you hear it, you will never look at that little box the same way again. I first learned all of this at a kitchen table in Holmes County, Ohio, from plain families who never needed 15 bottles to run a clean house. My name is Nicholas Stoltzfuss. Pull up a chair. Let me tell you where this little box actually comes from, because it is older than almost anything else in your kitchen. Back in 1846, two brothers-in-law, Dr. Austin Church and John Dwight, started packing sodium bicarbonate by hand, scooping it into paper bags right out of Dwight's home kitchen in New York. That kitchen was the whole factory. They sold it under the name Dwight's Saleratus, with a picture of a cow on the package. And for decades, that cow brand sat in American pantries as a baking staple, nothing more. Then in 1867, Austin Church's sons took over a little side business called Vulcan Spice Mills, and they carried its logo over onto the baking soda. That logo was a muscled arm swinging a hammer, and it stood for Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. Hold on to that picture, the god of fire stamped on a box of baking soda, because it is going to matter a great deal by the end of this video. And here is a thing almost everybody gets wrong. The Arm & Hammer name has nothing to do with the rich oil tycoon named Armand Hammer. Folks have mixed those two up for 100 years. He just happened to share the name, and he only bought his way onto the company's board much later. The brand came first, by decades, so that is what we are dealing with. One plain white powder packaged in a kitchen in 1846 that has quietly outlived every fancy cleaner that ever tried to replace it. Now let me show you what it does. Number 1 is the job your grandmother used it for most. Scouring. Sprinkle a little baking soda onto a damp sponge, then go after a crusted pot, a greasy stovetop, or a stained porcelain sink. It cuts right through. It works because sodium bicarbonate is a soft mineral. The crystals are abrasive enough to scrub off burnt on food and grime, but soft enough that they won't scratch your stainless steel or your enamel the way a harsh scouring powder will. At that kitchen table in Holmes County, I watched a woman named Mary clean an entire farmhouse sink with nothing but the dollar box and a wet rag. No gloves, no fumes, no special bottle of sink cleaner, just the powder that was already sitting there for baking. Number 2, the oven. If you have ever sprayed a can of oven cleaner and had to throw open every window in the house and still tasted the stuff in the back of your throat, this one is going to feel like a gift. Make a thick paste of baking soda and a little water. Smear it across the bottom of a cold oven, right over the baked-on grease and the black scorch spots, and leave it overnight. In the morning, you wipe it out with a damp cloth, and the grime comes away with it. No poison haze drifting over the food you are going to cook in there tomorrow. Plain families have cleaned their ovens this way for generations, and the only thing it costs is a little patience. Number 3 goes after grease in particular. That sticky, yellowed film that builds up on a range hood, on the back of the stove, on a roasting pan that has seen too many Sunday dinners. Baking soda is mildly alkaline, and grease is on the acidic side, so when you scrub a paste of it into that film, the chemistry works in your favor. It helps break the grease down instead of just smearing it around. Warm water, the paste, a little elbow, and that orange-brown gunk lifts right off the metal. Think about that for a second. The cleaning aisle sells you an angry-looking bottle of degreaser for $4 to do the exact job a $1 box does at the sink. Number 4. Anything that holds a lid and traps a smell. A cooler that sat shut in the garage all winter and now smells like a swamp. A thermos that still tastes like last week's coffee. A child's lunchbox that went sour over a long weekend. Wipe the inside down with baking soda and water, or for the stubborn ones, leave a spoonful of dry powder sitting in there overnight with the lid closed. By morning, the funk is gone. It does not bury the smell under a fake mountain breeze perfume. It neutralizes the odor, which is a different thing entirely. And I am going to show you exactly why this powder does that in just a minute. Number 5 is one a lot of younger folks have never even heard of. Cleaning your produce. Before there was a spray bottle of vegetable wash at $4 a pop, people rubbed a pinch of baking soda over the skins of their apples, their potatoes, their cucumbers, under running water at the kitchen sink. The mild grit helps scrub off the waxy coating and the field dirt that plain water just slides right past. Rinse it clean, and you're done. My grandmother did this at her farmhouse sink in Lancaster County for 60 years, long before anybody bottled the idea and slapped a premium price on it. Now we are 5 jobs in, and I have not even reached the big ones yet. We still have the laundry, the whole war on household odors, the silver in the cabinet, the garden out back, and the one use that can genuinely stop a fire onto your stovetop before it spreads to the cabinets. That is right. A dollar box sitting by your range can put out flames, and I will show you exactly how near the end. But first, let me deal with the smells. Here's the thing about odor. Most household stinks, the sour ones, the sharp ones, come from acidic molecules drifting in the air. Baking soda is a mild base, the chemical opposite, so when those odor molecules hit the powder, it does not cover them up. It neutralizes them. It is not perfume. It is chemistry, which is why one cheap box can quietly handle the worst smelling corners of your entire house. Number 6, carpets and rugs. Sprinkle a light, even layer of baking soda over a tired old carpet, especially in a room where a dog sleeps, or the kids spilled something a month ago. Let it sit 15 minutes for a light job, a few hours if it is bad. Then run the vacuum over it. The powder pulls the odor up out of the fibers, and the vacuum carries it away. No steam machine, no rented equipment, no bottle of carpet powder with a cartoon flower printed on the side. Number 7, mattresses and upholstery. Same idea, gentler surface. A mattress quietly soaks up years of sweat and stuffiness that you stop noticing because you sleep on it every single night. Sift a thin layer of baking soda across the bare mattress, let it sit a while, then vacuum it back off, and the bed smells like nothing again. Works the same on a couch the dog has decided belongs to him. Number 8, shoes, gym bags, lockers. Anything that traps sweat and goes dark and warm and ripe. A tablespoon of baking soda shaken down into each work boot overnight, then tapped out in the morning, and the pile by the back door stops announcing itself to the whole house. Coaches have been doing this to gym lockers for as long as there have been gym lockers. Number 9, the truly foul stuff. The kitchen trash can with the sticky bottom, the diaper pail in the nursery, the cat's litter box that can clear a room. Sprinkle baking soda in the bottom of the can before the bag goes in, or dust it right over the litter. It fights the smell at the source all day long. A dollar box costs a fraction of those special scented trash bags and litter additives, and it works better because it is neutralizing the odor instead of stacking a stronger smell on top of it. Number 10 is a little kitchen trick that feels like magic the first time you try it. You have just chopped a pile of onions and garlic, or cleaned a fish for supper, and your hands carry that smell no matter how much soap you use. Rub a little baking soda between wet hands at the sink, rinse, and the smell is simply gone. It grabs those odor compounds and washes them down the drain. My uncle, who cleaned a lot of perch on the shores of Lake Erie, swore by it for 50 years. And number 11 is the famous one, the open box in the back of the refrigerator, the freezer that smells like everything you have ever stored in it. You set an open box of baking soda in Seaway, and it quietly absorbs the odors, so your butter stops tasting like last night's leftovers. Now, this is the use everybody already knows. It is probably the only one your kids have ever seen. But the story of how that box ended up in your fridge, the real reason it is sitting there, is the whole point of this video, and I am saving it for the end. Hang with me, because it is going to make you a little angry. 11 jobs down, 9 to go, and the best are still coming. We have got laundry, hard water, the silver in your grandmother's cabinet, the garden out back, and that fire trick I promised you. And we are getting closer to 1972. Stay with me. Number 12, laundry. Toss half a cup of baking soda into the wash along with your regular detergent, and a few things happen at once. It softens hard water, so your detergent can actually do its job instead of fighting the minerals in your pipes. It helps brighten dingy whites, and it knocks the sour smell out of work clothes and towels. This is not some fringe idea either. The very same company that makes that yellow box made the first phosphate-free laundry detergent back in 1970, years before the rest of the industry was finally forced to follow. They have known what this powder can do in the wash for a long, long time. Number 13 leans on that same trick, away from the laundry room. If you have hard water, and most of rural America does, your cleaning water is full of minerals that leave streaks and a cloudy film behind. A spoonful of baking soda stirred into your mop bucket, or your wash water softens it, so your floors and counters come clean instead of drying with that dull haze. It is the quiet reason your grandmother's floors looked cleaner than yours, using half the product. Number 14. And I want to be straight with you on this one, because the internet badly oversells it. A sluggish, smelly drain. Pour a half cup of baking soda down it. Follow that with vinegar. Let it foam and fizz for a few minutes. Then chase it with hot water. That will freshen the drain and clear out light gunk and odor. What it will not do is open a drain that is truly clogged solid. If the water is not going down at all, this is not your fix. And anybody who tells you otherwise is selling you a fairy tale. It is a maintenance step, not a miracle. And honesty like that is exactly why I trust the boring box over the bottle with the big promises printed on the front. Number 15 is the one that looks like a parlor trick. Polishing silver. If you have got tarnished silverware or a blackened serving tray from a grandmother's cabinet, line a pan with aluminum foil, lay the silver right on the foil, pour in hot water and a few spoonfuls of baking soda, and watch. The black tarnish lifts off the silver and travels over onto the foil, right in front of your eyes. There is real chemistry under it. That tarnish is a sulfur compound, and the reaction pulls the sulfur off your silver and onto the aluminum. No toxic polishing cream, no endless rubbing with a rag. Just hot water, foil, and the dollar box. Number 16, marks on the walls and the floors. A child's crayon mural across the living room wall. Black scuff marks on the kitchen linoleum. The sticky residue a price sticker leaves behind on a new jar. A damp cloth with a little baking soda on it lifts all three. It is gentle enough not to strip the paint, and gritty enough to take the mark with it. Every mother of small children used to know this. The aisle would much rather sell you a special little eraser sponge. Number 17, grout and tile. The dingy gray lines between your bathroom and kitchen tiles are a magnet for grime, and a baking soda paste worked into them with an old toothbrush brings the white back. Add a little vinegar if it is really bad, and let it foam in there before you scrub. It is slow, honest work, but it is the exact same work the $4 grout cleaner does, minus the harsh smell and minus the $4. Number 18 takes us out the back door to the garden. A compost pile or a kitchen scrap bucket can turn sour and start to reek, especially in the heat of summer. A light dusting of baking soda over the top cuts that smell right down. Just go easy out there, because a little goes a long way in the soil, and you don't want to overdo it. Number 19, and again, I will give it to you straight. Powdery mildew, that white dusty coating that creeps over squash leaves and rose bushes in a wet season. Old-time gardeners have mixed a spoonful of baking soda into a gallon of water and sprayed it on the leaves to hold the mildew back. Does it help? It can slow it down, especially if you catch it early. Is it a guaranteed cure? No, and I am not going to pretend it is. It is a traditional trick that does a little good, not a magic bullet. But it is nearly free if you already have the box on the shelf, and that right there is the whole spirit of the thing. 19 jobs, all from one plain box that costs about $1. We have got one use left, and it is the big one, the one that can actually save your kitchen. But before I get there, I owe you some honesty about what this little box cannot do. Because a man who only tells you the good parts is just another salesman. So here it is, plainly. Baking soda is mild. That is its whole nature. It is the gentle, cheap, does most things tool. And there are a handful of jobs where you want the specialist instead. It will not open a drain that is clogged solid. It will not disinfect and kill germs the way a registered disinfectant will. So it is not what you reach for when somebody in the house has been sick. And on the very worst, baked on industrial grease, a heavy-duty degreaser is going to beat it. I am not here to tell you to throw out every bottle under your sink. I am telling you that $1 box quietly handles maybe 80% of the jobs that the aisle has talked you into buying 15 separate products for. The box is not magic. It is honest work at an honest price, and there was a time when that was enough. Which brings us to number 20. This one is not about saving money. It is about saving your house. Picture it. You have got a pan of bacon grease going on the stovetop. The phone rings. You turn your back for a minute. The grease gets too hot and it bursts into flame. This is the single most common way an American kitchen catches fire. And here is the first thing you absolutely must know. Never, ever throw water on a grease fire. Water sinks straight under the burning oil, flashes into steam, and blasts that fire up and out across your whole kitchen. People have burned their homes to the ground doing the very thing that feels most natural. Now, here is what you do instead. If you can safely reach the knob, turn off the burner. Then, take that box of baking soda you keep right there by the stove and dump it, generously, all over the flames. When baking soda hits that heat, it releases carbon dioxide gas, and that gas smothers the fire by choking off its oxygen. The same plain powder that scrubs your sink can put out a flare-up on your range. Remember Vulcan, the god of fire stamped on that box back in 1867? Turns out the symbol fit in a way the company never planned. Now, I will be honest with you here too, because this part matters most. This works on a small fire, the kind still sitting inside the pan. You need a real amount of powder, not a pinch, which is one more reason to keep a full box within arm's reach of the range, and not just a stale one buried in the fridge. And if that fire is spreading, or you cannot smother it in a second or two, you forget the box, you get everyone out of the house, and you call the fire department. A dollar box is a wonderful tool. It is not a substitute for getting your family out the door. But for that small flare-up that could have become a tragedy, the cheapest thing in the whole store might just be the most valuable. And now I owe you the story I have been holding back. The real reason there is an open box sitting in the back of your refrigerator right now. For its first 120 or so years, this was a baking product and a cleaning powder. People bought one box, used it up, and bought another when it ran out. Then, in 1972, the Arm & Hammer Company ran an advertising campaign that is still studied today as one of the cleverest ever made. The message was simple. Put an open box of baking soda in your refrigerator to absorb the odors. And it worked. It genuinely controls the smell in a fridge. You saw that yourself back at number 11. Within a single year, more than half of the refrigerators in America had a box of baking soda sitting inside them. But think hard about what that campaign actually did. It taught every household to buy a second box, one for baking, one for the fridge. A box you would never cook with. A box you would throw out and replace every 30 days, on a schedule, forever. It doubled the reason to buy the product without changing one thing about the product itself. That is the 1972 decision. It was not a lie. The box really does deodorize your fridge. It was just a brilliant piece of marketing that turned a one-box family into a two-box family and trained an entire country to keep on buying. And that same kind of thinking, scaled up across the whole store, is exactly how one honest powder got split into 15 specialized bottles on that shelf. They never made the box worse. They just made you forget how much it could do. So the next time you walk down that cleaning aisle and see that wall of bottles, I want you to do one thing for me. Look down at the bottom shelf, find the cheapest, most boring box on it, and ask yourself how many of those expensive bottles it quietly replaces. Because here is what has been gnawing at me, sitting at that kitchen table back in Holmes County. If they could pull this off with a $1 box of baking soda, how many other cheap, boring, handed-down things did the store quietly split into a shelf of bottles and gadgets while we were not paying attention? A lot of them. And next week, I am going after one of the biggest. The $15 pan that plain families hand down for 100 years. The one your great-grandmother cooked on every single day. And the reason your shiny non-stick pan is peeling and dead in 3. That story is going to change how you shop for the rest of your life. If you want to be here when it lands, subscribe and pull your chair back up to this table. I am Nicholas Stoltzfus. I will see you next week.